So today for Wednesday, we are going to be reviewing telling time in words. So that half past, the quarter after, and quarter past that we talked about yesterday. And we're also going to use the before and after hour. I know we did that a little bit for our test that we took last week. So we're going to review it today because, again, it seemed like on our test that we took before you guys left for a break, we really were struggling with this concept of being able to tell time using words. So let's review. When I have my clock, we look at it like it's divided in half when I'm using my words. If it's divided in half, on the right, we go past the hour. So it's 5 past the hour when it's pointing to the 1. It's 10 past the hour if the minute hand's pointing to the 2. It's quarter past the hour if the minute hand is touching the 3. Minute hand touching the 4, it's 20 past the hour. If the minute hand's touching the 5, then it's 25 past the hour. And if it's touching the 6, then we call that half past the hour. Now, once we get here on the left-hand side, we talk about it's getting ready to be the next hour. So once we pass that halfway mark, we're thinking about the next hour. So think about this. Once we get to lunch at school, you think about, what am I going to do when I get home, right? What's going to happen after school? Once you get to lunch and recess, you feel like you've made it. So you're ready to think on to the next thing. So that's very much what we're thinking about with our clock. Once we get halfway around, we're going to go to the next hour. So again, if my minute hand's pointed to the 7, I'm going to say it's 25 minutes to the next hour because I'm going to count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes to that next o'clock. Same thing if I'm pointing to the 8. 8 would be 20 minutes to that next o'clock because I would go 5, 10, 15, 20. Then we have quarter to, we remember that from yesterday, if we're pointing here at the 9. 10 to, if we're pointing at the 10, because in 5, 10 minutes, it will be the next hour. And then up here at the 11, it is 5 minutes to the next hour, just 5 minutes, right? So we're going to be working with these terms to tell our time. So again, we're going to do the same thing that we did yesterday as far as looking at the clock, deciding the digital time, and then working on writing that time in words. So let's get started. You're welcome to grab your dry erase board and a marker and write down these problems with me. If you need to pause the video to gain those materials, go ahead and do that. So let's walk through several of these here today. So it says, what time is on the clock? What is the time in words? So let's just start by what time is on the clock. So when I look at this clock, I notice my hour hand is in between the 8 and 9. That means it's still 8 o'clock. And I need to count around until I get to my minute hand. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So it is 8:20. So remember, if I'm on this right-hand side of the clock, so I'm over here, I'm going to talk about it's past the hour. And how many minutes past the hour is it? Well, it tells me right there. It is 20 minutes past. And then what was my hour that I passed up? It's 20 minutes past 8. Okay? So again, my clock, remember, could be divided in half. If it's on this side, I'm going to go past the hour. And I can actually use my numbers that I wrote for my digital time. It's 20 minutes after or past 8. Let's look at another example. Go ahead and erase your dry erase board if you're writing with me. I'll erase mine, and let's look at a new clock. This goes over a time that we practiced yesterday. So let's review yesterday's skill here. Here we have pointing between the 9 and 10. That means it's still 9 o'clock. 5, 10, 15. I remember I'm on the right side of the clock, so I want to tell how many minutes passed. So we could really say this time two different ways. I could say this is 15 minutes past 9. So I'm going to write that one first. 15 minutes past 9. That's probably the easiest way because I can use my digits that are right here. 15 minutes past 9. Now, remember yesterday we divided our clock into 4 pieces. And if my minute hand's over here, I've went a quarter. So we say that is a quarter past 9. So 2 different ways to write this time, quarter past 9 or 15 minutes past 9. But both are our time in words for our 9:15 time. Right, you can go ahead and erase your dry erase board if you're participating along with me. And let's look at a new clock. All right, write down your digital time. Let's see if we got the same answer. So it looks like it's 11 o'clock, hasn't touched the 12 yet. Counting around, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So it's 11:40. Ooh, now remember, if it passes that halfway mark, I'm getting ready to go to the next hour. I want to know what's coming next. So here we go. Let's count up our minutes. We got 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes till we get to this next o'clock. So I'm going to say it is 20 minutes to, so think about this. It was 11:40. In 20 minutes, it's getting ready to be, what's my next hour after 11? It would be 12, right? So it's 20 minutes to 12 on this clock. You could say it's 40 minutes past 11, but most of the time when we've crossed that halfway mark, we're getting ready to go on to that next hour. All right, let's continue to practice here and look at another clock. All right, digital time. Go ahead and write it for this clock. This should be the easy part that's review for you. See if you and I match. So I look at this clock and I say it's still 7 o'clock, not touched the 8 yet. Count around by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Hopefully you got 7:45 for your digital time. Now let's work on our time in words. Ooh, remember, this is one of the ones that we've practiced before. Our clock is broken into 4 pieces. If it's touching over here, then we have another quarter to go till we're at our next hour. So we're going to call this a quarter to, it's 7 o'clock right now. What hour is it getting ready to be? It's getting ready to be 8. Now there is another way to write this time. I could count up my minutes till 8. So I could go 5, 10, 15. Because again, it's past that halfway point. So I could also say it is 15 minutes to 8. So as you're working on your homework assignment, some of yours is going to be asking you to pick 2. This one would actually have 2 different time in words. It could be 15 minutes to 8 if we count my minutes till the next hour, Or remember, if it's broken into fourths, we call those quarters. So it's 7:45. So this one has two different answers to tell the time 7:45. All right, let's look at another one here. Again, you should be an expert at writing this digital time, so go ahead and begin. Write down the digital time, and we'll see if you match me. All right, so when I take a look, it looks like it's still 3 o'clock, hasn't touched the 4 yet. And then counting around my clock till I get down here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So it's 3:35 on my clock. All right, so remember, if I'm past this halfway point, it's getting ready to be the next hour. So I want to know how many minutes till I get there. So let's count them up. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. So in 25 minutes, it will be 25 minutes to, what's my next hour? So if it's 3 o'clock right now, what hour is it getting ready to move to? You said 4, you're correct. So again, another way you might hear somebody read this is 35 minutes after 3. But most of the time, once it passes that halfway mark, we're going to read it as 25 minutes to 4. All right. How about another practice problem here? Go ahead and erase this, and let's see if you can get the digital time. All right, write your digital time for this clock. So taking a look at my hour, it's getting very close to the 2, but it's not quite there yet. So it's still 1 o'clock. Counting around, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So it's 1:45. Now there are going to be 2 ways to write this time. One way is a quarter, and one way is using my minutes to the next hour. So let's see if you can find both of them. Go ahead and give it a try, and you can check your answer with me. All right, if you still need more time to work, go ahead and pause the video. But I'm going to go ahead and go over these answers. So in 5, 10, 15 minutes, it's going to be the next hour. So I'm going to write this time as 15 minutes to, now right now it's 1 o'clock, but it's getting ready to be 2 o'clock. So it's 15 minutes to 2. Now, I remember that this is one of my quarter hours if I break it into 4 pieces. So remember, if it touches over here at the 9, we've got a quarter left to the next hour. So we're going to call this time quarter to 2. Okay. I know you probably can't draw on your screen these marks, the flower petals. So what I want you to do is, as you're counting these, just use your finger to touch it. So 5, 10, 15. That will help you count your minutes. Don't try to do it in your head because you may lose track of where you are. It may help you to actually touch it. 5, 10, 15. I'm drawing it on the board to help you see it. Right? Let's see if we can do another one here. Take a look at the time. First, write your digital time, and then write your time in words. Go ahead and pause the video and get both of them done, and I'll be back to check with you. All right, let's see how you did. So if I look at my digital time, I notice it's still 3 o'clock, hasn't gotten down here to this 4 yet. I'm going to count by fives, 5, 10. So it's 3:10. Now, because this hasn't crossed this halfway part yet, I'm going to use the digits that it gave me. And in this case, it's 10 minutes after 3. Right? Because we're 5-10 minutes after this 3 o'clock mark. I hope this is making sense. If you need some more practice problems, there are 2 submissions on your assignment today. So if you really don't understand and you get that first one back and you're like, oh, I messed that up, there are 2 submissions today. So go ahead and redo it. And be sure you send your teacher a message and ask for help. Let's try another one. All right, here we go. Go ahead and write your digital time and then your time in words for the time on this clock. Pause your video while you work. All right, let's see what you got. So if I take a look here, it is still 12 o'clock because I haven't got to the 1 yet. And when I count around, I get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it is 12:30. And if I look, that's exactly halfway around my clock. So I can actually say this time 2 ways. I can say this time is half past 12, or I can go ahead and use the digits that it gives me and say, well, this is 30 minutes past 12. Right? Several of yours today will be able to answer 2 different ways. So make sure you read the directions, and if it says choose 2, you remember to pick 2 different ones. Let's practice another one here. All right, go ahead and write your digital time and your time in words for the time that's on this clock. Pause your video if you need time to work. All right, let's check and see what you got. So if I look, it is still 6 o'clock. Count around. Wow, I got to make it all the way over here. All right, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It is 6:50 on that clock. Well, that is way past my halfway point. It's really close to this next o'clock. So let's see in how many minutes. Again, touch your screen if you need help counting. You can't draw the flower petals on there like I can on the board here. So here we go. To the next o'clock, we jump. 5, 10. So in 10 minutes, it will be what hour? Well, it won't be 6. It's already 6. So in 10 minutes, this hour hand is going to be pointing at the 7. So we would say it is 10 minutes to 7. Right? How about another practice problem here? Go ahead and erase your board. On your dry erase board, write down the digital time and this time in words. There are 2 different ways to write that time in words. Go ahead and pause the video and give yourself time to work. All right, let's see how you did. So I take a look. It is still 5 o'clock. Counting around my clock, 5, 10, 15. It is 5:15 on my clock. So I'm going to know it is halfway, or not halfway, I should say, around the clock. So I'm just going to use my digits it gave me. So this is one way. It is 15 minutes past 5, or we could say after 5, of course. So we went 15 minutes after this 5 o'clock hour. A second way to write it. Remember, 3 was one of our numbers, right? One of those magic numbers. If it touches the 3, we're going to talk about quarters. So If it's touching that 3, I've went a quarter past the hour. So we're going to say quarter past, and we went past 5 o'clock. Hopefully you got both of those answers. Remember, today on your assignment, if it says choose 2, make sure you pick 2. Those 2 should tell the same time. Both of these mean it is 5:15 on the clock. All right, so now it is your turn to practice. Again, remember, your problems today actually have 2 submissions. You only have to do 1. But if you do not get a very good score on the first one, go back and review your answers and try it a second time. Let your teacher know if you're really struggling, and we're happy to set up a Google Meet with you to go over this concept of telling time in words. Go ahead and complete your puzzle piece assignment that is below. Good luck, and let us know if you have any questions. See you tomorrow.